Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
All right, welcome back to another great edition of Freed on Business. Today, I'm joined by one of my close personal friends and perhaps certainly one of our most, if not our most requested guests. We're going to be on with Bruce Turkel. Bruce is going to talk about his new book, Is That All There Is? And a lot of other great topics. He's not only the personal branding expert par excellence, but he also is a great personal coach. We're going to talk to Bruce about all kinds of great things and great ideas. And we're going to start that right after we sell a couple of cars for Warren Henry. Mr. Mendoza, rock the house. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why I check out Warren Henry. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry for being sponsors for 10 years. We're on our 11th year with Warren Henry. Thank you to Warren. Thank you to Larry. And thank you to the whole team over at Warren Henry Automotive. Like I said, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you do want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out our friends at Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. I'll be up there. Maybe I'm up there today. I'll be up there in September looking at the Audis, and maybe I'll get one of those Audis, the A6 or the A8, both tremendous cars. If you want a Jeep or one of the other cars that we haven't mentioned, they've got all the great nameplates down in Key West. What all those cars have in common? Well, besides being great cars that come with the Warren Henry Advantage, that's a long list of services that you can get. It includes, of course, the complimentary service loaner if you have to leave your car behind for service. They'll also give you complimentary key replacement. If you lose those fancy keys, they'll polish up your rims if you get too close and scratch them up. If you get too close to the curb, of course, they'll guarantee you're getting a great price on your used car. If you're dropping one off and trading one in, they'll guarantee you're getting a great price on your new car. And they'll give you 3 days to make sure you do like your car. You can trade it back into them. Believe me, nobody does that. They all love their cars. Join me, my beautiful wife, my mom. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. So are lots of my friends. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Freed, and I help lots of real estate families and operating companies execute their business plan. I've got companies from all over the world that work with me, from the Middle East, Latin America, the Far East, and right here in South Florida. We do everything with them. We help them raise capital. We help them sell their assets. We help them combine with each other to do real estate transactions. If you're looking to do a transaction, please reach out to me. And remember, whenever you reach out to me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Freed on Business. We've got our perhaps most requested guest on with us today, Bruce Turkel. Bruce is, well, I'll have to say it. He's a legend here in South Florida. He's a branding expert. He helps people manage their careers. He's recently published his latest bestseller, which is That All There Is? Welcome back to the show, Bruce Turkel.
Thank you, Jim. Good to be here.
Hey, we love having you, Bruce. Now we know that there's more to life than just what we're dealing with, but I know a lot of my friends are asking me, is that all there is, especially after COVID? So, Bruce, what really prompted you to ask that question to yourself and then to the people that you interviewed for the book?
Well, I'll spare you the long story. It's in the book. But the short story is I had been running the advertising agency for a good 30 years. And as much as it's what I wanted to do and I had built it the way I wanted, at some point, I started wondering what else was out there, what else was available to me. And I made a deal with my partner to part ways. It actually happened very nicely. But then once I was out, the question was, what was I going to do next? What did I actually want to do? I'm not a guy to retire. I don't play golf. It's, I had to come up with my next plan of action. And I didn't realize this at the time. Someone just recently pointed this out to me. But what I did next was I went and spoke to at least 50 people who had successfully pivoted their lives. I knew I did that. What I didn't realize was I was doing market research. I was still a marketing guy, right? So if you want to find out what do your consumers think or what do your buyers think or what do your clients think, you could do market research. I did market research. I spoke to 50 people, all of whom had successful careers and then pivoted for different reasons. Some did it for good reasons. They made a lot of money. They were able to move on. Some did it for bad reasons. The 7 Ds, disease, divorce, downsizing, death, debt, on and on and on. But from that, I really saw some patterns in what people did and how they did it and how they maintained a life of successful activities, even though they didn't have whatever it was that had gotten them to that level of success any longer. Well, while I'm thinking about all this, boom, COVID comes along. And I have to admit, I was not prescient enough to know that there would be a worldwide pandemic that would cause everybody to think to themselves, is that all there is? However, it happened at quite an interesting time for me. So I took what I learned from those interviews and I wrote the book. And then from the book, I created exercises and programs and masterminds and strategic roundtables and speeches and all these other things to show people what they need to do to successfully change their lives.
Now, Bruce, before we talk about changing our life, what do we have to ask ourselves to determine whether that's something we should be doing?
Well, first of all, the question you have to ask yourself is that all there is? If you're looking around and you're saying, I'm living the dream, this is what I want to be doing, why would you pivot unless you see something on the horizon that's going to change your world? If your cheese is about to move, then perhaps you're going to consider it. But what I found when I spoke to people, and I find even more when people read the book, the number one thing people say to me when they read the book is, oh my God, I felt like you were talking to me. People say, I picked it up to read it. It's a fat book. I think it's like 400 pages or something. So people pick it up to read it and they go, I thought it would take me a couple of weeks to read it, but I couldn't put it down because it's exactly what I'm going through. How did you know what I'm going through? Well, clearly I didn't. What I realized was there's a zeitgeist for people to wonder what else is out there. What else could I be doing? It's a nagging feeling. If you've got it. In fact, if you're watching this program or listening to this program, when you heard me start to talk about it, if your ears perked up, and you said, oh yeah, that's what I'm going, And if you said, what do I care? I love what I'm doing. You also know.
Yeah. And the reality is that if you love what you're doing, it still needs to be evaluated on a regular basis because you never know when that black swan event is going to happen and it is going to rock your world. And it may not be an economic event. It may be a health event. It may be a family event. For me, It was just the two nephews coming in from out of town that I hadn't seen since COVID started. And I realized, oh my God, I can't miss this anymore. And I said, there's got to be more. And how do I build my world around the ability to be flexible enough to go visit them? And that's what I'm doing.
And to add to that, keep in mind, how do I build my world around, and you had a goal. Those goals change over time. Who you are, what you do, and what matters to you changes. So while generating revenue, paying for your family, putting your kids through college, putting a roof over your head, whatever it is you want, leasing that gorgeous car from Warren Henry, whatever. Some of those things you accomplish, and then you say, now what? Others you don't, and you say, you know what, I don't care about that anymore. And then new things come into focus, and different things change your perception of what's going on. So perhaps the health issue that you heroically ushered your wife through changes your perception of what's going on. The pandemic changed our perception of what's going on, what's happening politically in this country, what's happening with climate change. Whatever you think of it changes your perception of what's going on, and might cause you to think, you know what, I need to start thinking about a plan B, or I need to start thinking about some other opportunities, or before it's too late, you know what I would do? Here's an example. How many times have you gone to a funeral and someone doing the eulogy says, so-and-so's death, untimely death, reminds us to live every moment. And we all go, oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But if you stop and think about it, we all know that's on the horizon, right? So why do we need to be reminded that maybe we should be looking at some other things that we might want to get done in our limited time? We don't like to think about those things, but thinking people can't push those things out of their minds. So the signals are all around us all the time.
Yeah, well, you know, for me, I think it starts with making a list of priorities about what's really important to you in life. The first priority in my life at the time, and I think still to this day, is having my companion with me, being with me, experiencing things, helping me through things, collaborating with me on ideas. And that was what was really important to me. And that's what I went out to save. Now that I've got her with me, what's next? Well, what's next is I want to live the life that we saved. You know.
So here's an interesting thing I discovered. You just put those in very succinct, powerful, understandable, approachable, and attainable, or at least pursuable goals. Yes. There's a lot of people who don't know that. If you say to people, what do you want? And here, I'll challenge all your listeners and all your viewers. And don't worry, no, this is not a test. No one's going to catch you. But think about it in your head. If someone says to you, what do you want? And now picture what it is you want. And I'm going to tell you what it is, because from the research I did, everybody says one of three things. You'll use a different word or a different scenario, but if you give me the luxury of flexibility, you'll see that this is true. Everybody says either I want to be rich, I want to be happy, or I want to be fulfilled.
Hold it right there. Let's take a break. We're going to talk about the big three when we get back and how they're intrinsically linked and so ill-defined. We'll be right back after this. I just love Bruce Turkel. He always brings such positive energy to everything he does, and it's so great to surround yourself with positive energy. And that's why I love to go to Warren Henry. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry for being our sponsors for the last 10 years. We're going on our 11th year now with Warren Henry. I guess we must sell a couple of cars for them, and I think that's because the cars are so great. So when you're looking to buy or lease that car and you're looking for that advantage, give a call, give a shout, go visit our friends at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. They've got them for sale up at 151st and Biscayne. I'm going to be going to Gainesville. I'm going to be looking up the Audi store up in Gainesville, looking at the A6 and the A8. And down in the Keys, well, they sell everything down there, Jeeps, et cetera, et cetera. What do all those cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they come with the Warren Henry Advantage. And that's a long list of services. It includes, of course, the complimentary service loaner if you have to leave your car there. I like to close park my car, so sometimes to scrape up my rims, they polish them up and make them look brand new again for me. I've lost my keys. Those keys cost like $100 to replace the automatic little key thing there, the key fobs. They replaced it for free. When I traded in my car, they guaranteed that I'd get the best price for my trade-in. When I bought my car, they guaranteed that I'd get the best price on that car. And I can tell you this, if you don't like your car after 3 days to trade it in, nobody ever really does that because they love their cars. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Can AI supercharge your real estate analysts? With Deep Blocks, you can now canvas entire cities in minutes. Search by total buildable, potential units, and uses allowed. Now live in 100 cities. Book a private demo and supercharge your real estate analysts. deepblocks.com/demo.
I love the artificial intelligence. Use it to find transactions in lots of different places. Hey, reach out to me. I'm using those artificial intelligence tools to help families from around the world. I have families from the Middle East that I work with, families from Latin America that I work with, families from the Far East, and of course, locally based families here in Florida and the United States. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all seeking something different. From a real estate standpoint, but the one thing that they're always seeking is they're seeking a trusted advisor, and that's the role I play for them. If I can help you find a real estate deal, capitalize a real estate deal, or just look at something a little bit differently than you have been in the past, please reach out to me. I'd love to work with you and your family. And remember, whenever you reach out to me, it's always going to be all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with Bruce Turkel. Bruce and I are talking about his latest bestseller, Is That All There Is? Inspired by a whole bunch of people that he interviewed, and in a political crisis. Welcome back, Bruce. Where is he? There he is.
Right here, Jim.
Yeah, that was the old metal bottle that fell down. I've been knocking it down now ever since I read about it in the Wall Street Journal. I keep knocking my water bottle down and disturbing everybody, but sorry about that. So we were talking about the big three. Let's go right back in it. What are the big three and why is it important to us?
So what I had asked was for everyone watching and listening to ask themselves, if someone says to you, what do you want? People answer with one of three answers. I want to be rich, I want to be happy, or I want to be fulfilled. I mean, you might say I want purpose or I want to do something meaningful. The words might change, but the meanings are the same. But if you dig deeper, if you peel back the onion, if you ask why, you just act like a little kid. Why? What you find is that people don't actually know. And those three terms are rather flexible in their definitions. What does rich mean? It means different things to different people. To some people, it means a super yacht and the ability to have a crew and to travel around the world or have an airplane. To other people, it means paying the mortgage and putting their kids through college. To other people, it means not worrying about money. To other people, it means to hit a certain number in a revenue or a asset class they have in their head. The point is that it's relative and it's a moving target. So being rich doesn't really mean anything. What's more, if you compare yourself to 99% of the people on the earth, or 99.999% of people who've ever been on the earth, you are rich. You are filthy rich. The only difference between you and the King of England 300 years ago, There's only one thing the king could do that you can't, and that's pretty much legally have someone put to death.
Yes.
Other than that, not only could you do everything they could do, but you could do all these things they couldn't even conceive of, like live in Miami in the summer with the air conditioning on, or have food not get rotten in refrigerators, or get on an airplane and go around the world in a day. So this concept of rich really needs a lot more definition. And then same thing with happy. I want to be happy. Well, what does that mean? Do you want to be smiling and laughing all the time? Do you want to be content? Do you want to be amused? Do you want to be, like someone in an opium den and just in a state of complete bliss, even though everything around you might be awful? Being happy is one of those words that people use very easily. But if they really break it down, they don't know what it means. And then finally, fulfilled. I want to be fulfilled. I want purpose. What does that mean? Do you want it spiritually? Do you want it religiously? Do you want it humanitarianly? Do you want it for yourself? Do you want it for your artwork? Do you want it for your family? What would fulfill you? Can you define that? Do you need to be Mother Teresa to feel fulfilled? Or can you simply earn enough money to take care of your family and feel fulfilled? Or can you give a percentage of your income to a charity that matters to you? Or can you volunteer at a soup kitchen? Again, I'm not suggesting any of these are right or wrong. The point is, this concept of fulfillment doesn't make sense to people. My grandfather came to this country at 16 without a penny in his pocket and not speaking English. Years later, my father was the youngest of his 3 children, went to college, went into the service, started a business, had a family. If I would have said to my grandfather that I didn't find my work fulfilling, he wouldn't have had any idea what I was talking about. The concept was not even in his realm of thought. My wife came to this country from Cuba when she was 2 years old. Her grandparents took care of her because her mom passed away. And she was raised by her grandparents who had 2 jobs in a country where they didn't speak the language. Yet they had a roof over their head and they fed her, and she went to college and she got a graduate degree. If you would have said to one of them, abuelo, I don't feel fulfilled, that wouldn't have made no sense to them. So my point is quite simply that these 3 answers really are not answers. And so people talk about these things they want without ever having given them any degree of depth. So what we wind up doing is we wind up comparing. I want to have what my neighbor has, keeping up with Joneses. Or, oh my God, did you see what Kim Kardashian bought? Or, oh my God, look at their marriage. Or, oh my God, look at their children. And comparing is never a way to become rich, fulfilled, or happy. So if those things aren't going to work, then the question becomes, what is going to work? And that's what my exploration, or that's what my question took me on the exploration or the journey to answer those questions.
So I kind of had a similar experience, and I may have found at least a partial answer that I knew was the answer all along for me. Right before the pandemic hit, we had our little nephews came in from Dallas, one of them at the time, and it was just a wonderful experience. I'm not a parent, so this was my chance to see the world through a child's loving eyes. Then the pandemic hit. I wasn't able to see that kid again. He actually had a brother that was born who's almost 2 now. They both came into town last weekend. And then I found out what I really wanted. I just wanted to hold those kids, watch whatever that Disney movie was, and just go from here to infinity, to infinity and beyond, over. And we must have watched the movie 10 times. And I didn't care. I held them, I hugged them, I kissed them. I felt complete. That's what I'm looking for. So I already made my plans to go back and see them again. Nothing's going to keep me apart from them. So I found what it was I was looking for, and I'm making a plan to achieve it.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's not that easy. Sometimes you know what it is, and you chase it and chase it and chase it, and you still can't catch it. And I've had Nikki, and Nikki is a different way that makes me feel wonderful. And I watch her striving to change the world and make the world a better place. And I can feel like I'm helping in some way on that. So again, I have this existential goal that I'm able to reach. It doesn't require cash money except to go on an airplane. It doesn't really require watching somebody else or even having somebody else be a part of it other than my wife and my family. And it's really, to me, the most essential thing that there is. And, I'm sure you've heard this saying, but when I turned to my nephew at one point, the father of the two little boys, and I just looked at him and I said, L'adore vador, from generation to generation. And then it really resonated with me. So Bruce, I think I'm finding it.
Congratulations. That's very rare.
Yeah, I think that part of it is that you have to let yourself find it. I think you have to be open to finding it. I think that when you see something that's hitting you, you have to accept it, even though it's not necessarily something that you thought was what you were looking for. And I think that once you find it, you should allow yourself to be content. Perhaps that's why there's so many divorces. People should just be content.
There's something else to add, which is you don't usually find it as in, I didn't know where it was. What I have found is you usually uncover it. If you're completely honest with yourself, you don't say, oh my God, I didn't know that was it. You say, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's part of who you are. And really the question is, it's right there in front of you, but you're not seeing it. And you're not seeing it because you're distracted by so many other things, which is pursuit of financial reward, pursuit of social reward, pursuit of all these other things that we tend to believe are important to us because other people told us they are. One of the things I found when I spoke to people when I wrote the book is I would ask them, why did you do that? Whatever that was. I went to medical school, or I decided to join the service, or I moved to California, or I moved to New York, or, and a lot of people said, well, I did it for a girl. I went to college because my girlfriend was going to that college, or my boyfriend, or I met a boy and he lived in that city, or girl, whatever. A lot of people said, I did it because my parents wanted me to. My parents told me I should be an accountant, or I should be a lawyer, I should do whatever. I did it because a guidance counselor told me to. I did it because a grandparent told me to. I did it because my friends thought I'd be cool or told me, you're so creative. Yeah, you did that. Most people did that. And the big question becomes, how long are you going to try and live somebody else's life?
Yes. And see, let's break on that. And see, I also think that it takes courage to reject the social norms that may be holding you back. And with that thought hanging in the abeyance, we'll be right back. I got to sell a couple of cars.
I got a great courage thing when we get back.
Oh, you're the best, Bruce. I love having you. You're the best. Mendoza. Sorry, I'm making notes. Boy, this next segment with Bruce is going to be absolutely great. Hey, you know what else was great? My last time I went up to Warren Henry. Why? Got to sit down with my good friends up there, Larry and Warren. I got to see Eric Day. I got to thank everybody for their 10 years of supporting the show. I got my car serviced. Then I bought a car. My wife got her new QX60. What a busy day. It's just one day up at Warren Henry. So remember, when you're looking to buy or lease your car, and you want to get every advantage you can, you got to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. I'm going to be going up there to get my new car probably in the next couple of weeks. Going to tee it up with Larry, then go up to the UF Real Estate event. Probably go down to the Keys sometime soon. Look at my recreational car that I want to get. Probably going to get one of those Jeeps with the fancy back in the back there. All of them are great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a long list of things that they give you when you buy your car from Warren Henry. Of course, it includes a complimentary service loaner, things you may not realize. They'll replace your fancy keys if you lose them. They'll polish up your rims if you close park like I always do. I'm the king of the rim polishing. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your trade-in. They'll guarantee you're getting the best price on your new car. They'll give you 3 days to return your car. If you don't like it, guess what? You'll like it. No one returns their car. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom. My mom's kind of picky, so Warren Henry's good if they got my mom. Lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. A lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
carlsonintegrated.com. They're tremendous. They help me look good. That ain't easy. Hey, reach out to me. Give me a call. Maybe you're working on a real estate deal and it just fell apart. Maybe you need some creative capital solutions. A lot of times I call people and they think they're set, and then I give them a new idea and they go, wow, that's a really interesting idea. I'm meeting one of my favorite self-made real estate entrepreneurs tomorrow. We're going to talk about building apartment buildings together. So apartments, retail, office, land, hard money loans, private loans. At 3:30, I'm talking to a guy who wants to build 5 spec houses in Boca. If it's creative and it needs capital, reach out to me. If it's simple and you need good process management and you need a reliable partner on that, I do that for lots of families too. In one case, the family has a whole bunch of lenders they like to work with. Every deal, they have 5 lenders quote on it. Only one can do it. Somebody has to call the 4 others and say they're not getting the deal. They leave that to me. So if I can help you in any aspect of your real estate business, give me a call. Reach out to me. DM me. Why? Well, you know by now. Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freedom Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freedom Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Welcome back. We're joined by one of our most requested guests. He's my mentor. He's my friend. He's my collaborator. He's Bruce Turkel. Welcome back, Bruce.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, so, we were just going into it. You had a tremendous story you wanted to tell us about having the courage to change. Lay it on.
It's not a story. It's just a good thing to keep in your mind. We've talked about it before. My favorite movie of all time is The Wizard of Oz. And it's my favorite movie for a number of reasons. But one of the things that I love is the Cowardly Lion, who talked about the one thing he wanted, which was not simply courage, but it was courage. He'd lean over, courage. And so Dorothy asked him about courage. And she said, Your Majesty, if you were king, you wouldn't be afraid of anything. And he says, not nobody, not know how. Not even a rhinoceros? Imposterous. How about a hippopotamus? Why, I'd trash him from top to bottomest. Supposing you met an elephant, I'd wrap him up in cellophant. What if it were a brontosaurus? I'd show him who was king of the forest. And he goes on and sings the song about courage. But think about it. All the things that he listed, a rhinoceros, a hippopotamus, a brontosaurus, an elephant. How many times has anyone listening to this show had to deal with those things? Oh, I know. Wait, never.
Right.
The things that we are afraid of, most of them don't ever actually happen. I speak at conferences for a living, public speaking, and every study you read says that the number one fear in America is public speaking, getting up in front of people and speaking. And I coach a lot of people who want to be speakers. And so they'll tell me how afraid they are to speak. And I say, why? And they say, well, I mean, which is not an answer, by the way. It's just an
it's an unmanifested fear.
It's just a fear. So I say, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'd forget my lines. I'd say, nobody knows what you were going to say anyways. Right. So, I didn't think about that. Well, maybe I would say something stupid. I go, okay, but what's the worst? But let's think the worst thing that can happen. Are you going to die? Well, I'm going to die from fright. I go, no. But seriously, are you going to die like walking across the street and getting hit by a car or getting tuberculosis or whatever? No. Are you going to get hurt? Are you going to fall off the stage and break your leg? No. If you get so scared that you faint, you wouldn't know anyways because you're on. What's the worst thing that can happen? And you know what it is?
Not doing it.
I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, but you're not going to do something that matters to your life because you're concerned with being embarrassed. So when you're talking about a life change, a pivot, the same question. Look at the negative. Everyone always says, look at the positive, always look on the bright side of life. But look at the negative. What's the worst that could happen? And if you say, well, the worst that could happen is I don't bring any revenue and then I can't pay my mortgage and then my home gets foreclosed on, you go, okay, that's serious. So maybe you can't quit your day job yet. Maybe we have to look at another way for you to do what it is you want to do. Someone tells me I want to be a professional musician. Okay, I want to go out on the road and play music. What's the worst that could happen? Well, I might not be successful and I might not be able to make a living. Okay, do you have enough money in the bank to cover that? No. Okay, then maybe you can't go do it. But that doesn't mean you can't start playing local gigs. It doesn't mean you can't go to an open mic at the Elks Club on Thursday night. It doesn't mean you can't sit around and play with your friends. And you can grow into what it is you want. The fear might stop, the intelligent fear, not the unintelligent fear. The unintelligent fear, I'm afraid to sing in public. You just got to deal with that. But the intelligent fear, well, my kid's tuition is due, or I got to pay for my daughter's braces. The intelligent fear says, okay, what can we do while we take care of that problem? And when people start working on that sort of schedule instead of all or nothing, all of a sudden, a lot of things become possible.
You said something that I think is extremely important, and that's the term all or nothing. Usually what I find is success is achieved on an incremental basis. When you want to achieve something, you're not going to get there all the way the first time necessarily. I just had an example of that in my own personal life in a very public way. But if you keep at it and you keep building, odds are that you'll continue to reach your goals. And I think we've talked about this before. It's not really what's going to happen right now. Just keep your eye on the horizon and keep going. Keep going and don't give up. Have an idea of how you're going to get there. And I think that another very important thing is that you can't quit your day job while you're pursuing your dreams and goals. You just can't.
Unless you're positioned to do it. And if you are, good for you. One of the guys I interviewed in the book, a guy named Ian Wolfe, fascinating guy. His life is fascinating. But after getting a degree in MIT, he went and became a Green Beret. And he talks about how hard it was to become a Green Beret. And he says, people ask me, what do I need to do to be a Green Beret? Some people say, do I need to be the strongest or the toughest or the most strategic or the most aggressive or the best? And he goes through all these things that you would think, yeah, that's what you need. And he says, all those things matter, but there's only one thing that gets you to be a Green Beret or not.
Dedication.
He says, don't quit. That's it. He says, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. If you believe that you got nowhere else to go, or this matters more than anything, matters more than discomfort, matters more than physical pain, matters more than anything, he says, you'll become a Green Beret. And if you don't have that, I don't care how tough you are, how strong you are, how smart you are, you ain't going to make it. 2 words, don't quit.
No, that's the same way he got through MIT, I'm sure. Without a doubt.
MIT is so hard that you can leave for 2 years and still come back. And he said it was so hard. After being the smartest kid in his high school, he went to MIT where he was convinced he was the dumbest effing person on the campus, his words. And he quit and he became a mountain climber, and he climbed Denali. He climbed every mountain that they name SUVs after. And then he went back to MIT, got his degree, and then became a Green Beret. Then got out of the service and went to Harvard and got his MBA. I mean, guy's amazing. But he believes, just like climbing a mountain. You know, there's a great sign if you've ever hiked Grand Canyon. There's a fascinating sign at the entrance to every trail. It says, going down is optional. Coming up is mandatory. Because most mountain hikes, you start at the bottom, you walk to them, and you go up. And then when you're tired, you turn around and you come back down, which is easier. But in the case of hiking the Grand Canyon, you start at the rim and you go down. And when you're tired or it's too hot or it's getting late, then the hard part is ahead of you. And people don't think about that. Going down is optional. You don't have to do it, but coming up is mandatory. Once you commit to it, you have to finish it, because the alternative is just completely unacceptable.
You know, I've been to the Grand Canyon, and I've actually seen the signs and had to make the decision. I was a young kid, so we didn't go down too deep. You know, we stayed up towards the rim and walked around the rim more than we went down. And I believe that's a good example in knowing your limitations. Part of success is knowing your limitations.
A man's got to know his limitations.
Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break with Bruce. We'll be right back for the final segment with Bruce Turkel. We're going to graze on all of his historic books that he's got back there on the shelf. We'll talk about the Big Seven and all of Bruce's other themes right after this break. Perhaps the best part of the show is when Bruce freeforms like that. So make sure you stick with us. Mr. Mendoza, you should be ready now. So hit it. Well, we're having another great interview here with Mr. Bruce Turkel. Like I said earlier, he's my mentor, he's my friend, and he's my collaborator. I'm proud to say all three. I'm also proud to say that we've been partners with Warren Henry Automotive for the past 10 years. This is our 11th year of being sponsored by Warren Henry. It's impossible for me to to say how much it means to be part of their brand and to be their brand ambassador. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Eric. Thank you to the whole team at Warren Henry. I'm going to go into it. You've heard it by now a gazillion times. It's the same, but it never loses its meaning. When you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at Biscayne and 105th. The first. I almost got the address wrong. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. I'll be going up there real soon. I'm going to be checking out the Audis, hopefully coming back with an A6 or maybe the A8. And afterwards, probably sometime after New Year's, I'm going to go down to the Keys and get myself one of those Jeeps with the big backside there, and for all my recreational stuff. What do all these cars have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with a Warren Henry Advantage. It's a long list of services. It includes, obviously, the complimentary service loaner. They'll repair your rims if you scratch them up. They'll polish them up for you. If you lose your key, they'll replace your key. Three things that I think are really important. They'll guarantee the price on your trade-in is the best price you'll get. They'll guarantee the price you're getting on the new car is the best you'll get. And I love this one. They'll give you 3 days to turn back your car. Guess what? Nobody ever does, because they love those cars. Join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends. I was doing a show the other day, and one of my friends called me. They were waiting for Maytel Stark in the service line. So remember, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
I just love that PSA. Everybody in the business, everybody in business thinks you got to be dog eat dog. I have gotten where I have gotten by being kind. I call my clients, I offer them solutions, I befriend them and treat them with honesty, transparency, and kindness, and they respond with transactions that they could give to anybody, because everybody that solicits them, for the most part, is qualified, and they select the person they like. Call me, DM me. Let's get to know each other. I've been speaking to clients from across the globe on a regular basis, building relationships with them, first through Skype, then through Zoom, and then finally in person when they come to the marketplace. And typically I'm able to earn their confidence and create a business structure that works for them. And that's always important to me. So if it's retail, office, apartments, rent-to-own homes, single-family lot development, I've got folks that do all of that and much more. If you're looking to implement your business plan, if you're looking to change your business plan, if you're looking to change your life in real estate, give me a call. One thing that's always a lock solid truth is that when you call me, I'm going to make sure it's all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're back with the final segment here with Bruce Turkel. Bruce is my friend. He's my mentor. He's my collaborator, and now he's going to be all of ours coach. Welcome back, Bruce Turkel.
Thank you, Jim.
Now, Bruce, I'm going to lay this on you, but every time you're on, I always like to make at least one segment where we repeat the message that you gave me early on when I first met you about the 7 really important things that there are to helping a person build their personal brand. I know we demonstrate them here on the show all the time, but I think it's important to point out, and I also think it gives people an understanding of the other type of consulting and benefits they have when they have a business and personal relationship with you, Bruce. So here it is. What are the big 7?
Well, the 7 came from this book titled Building Brand Value. And it was not about how you change what it is you do, but how you change people's perceptions of what it is you do. Not about being better at your job, but about being better at having people understand why you matter in their lives. So the first one, it actually became a book of its own, is all about them, which is how do you communicate who you are and what you do through the eyes of your consumer, your client, your customer, whomever you want to do business with. How do you focus relentlessly on them? Most people focus on themselves. Look at me. Look what I've done. Look at my business. Look at my locations. Look how many computers we have. Se habla español, whatever. And the truth is, most potential customers care about themselves. So the first thing that you need to do is to figure out how to communicate your uniquenesses in the language of why do you matter to them, all about them. Number 2 is hearts, then minds. Hearts, then minds means that you need to make an emotional connection with your customer before you make an intellectual one. Most businesses talk about the intellectual advantages, how much it costs, what your return on investment is, again, how many locations, how many trucks, how many years we've been in business, all of those things. But what matters is the emotional connection. For example, you say repeatedly, Warren Henry has been your sponsor for 10 years. That is an intellectual statement on its face, right? 10 years. I can count the number of years. 1, then there was 2 and 3, and so on. And they've been a sponsor, meaning they have provided your show with money and resources in order for you to be on the air and for you to share their good word. But think about the emotional connection. They trust you. Yes. They trust you to talk about them as a spokesperson and to make them look good. Yes. They trust you to tell the world who they are. They trust that what you do for them is of value. I don't know what they pay to be your sponsor, and it's none of my business, but whatever it is, they have determined that they are getting more than their money's worth. Because I know those guys, they're pretty smart business people. They would not be investing in your show if it didn't pay off for them. But going from the intellectual of how much money, how many years, how many notices, to the emotional, they trust you. They know you know what you're doing, and vice versa. You have to trust them, because if enough people came to you and said, you know, that tomato soup company that sponsors you, their products are terrible, you'd have to stop sponsoring them. I mean, letting them sponsor you, because it'd make you look bad. So it's that relationship that is so key, and that people should understand, hey, maybe I should do business with Jim Fried, either on his show or in his real estate business, because these people, serious business people, have trusted him for 10 years, hearts then minds. Number 3, make it simple. Make it simple. You say, I do everything in real estate. And the minute you say that, my eyes glaze over, because everything is a damn lot of things, Jim. What I want to know is you're going to do what I need. You're going to take care of what I care about. Make it simple. Number 4, make it quick. You know from the show that you have a limited amount of time. Your sponsors, whether it's Becca with her service providing business, or it's the guys from Warren Henry, they only get so much time. They got to make it quick. They got to get in, get out, get the message across. Point 5 is make it yours. What are they going to stand for? What are you going to stand for? Every brand that has a place in your heart, whether it's the car you drive, or it's the hotels you like to stay at, or it's the cities you visit, or it's the clothes you wear, or it's the food you buy, you know what they stand for. They own something. Apple owns something different than Microsoft. Jaguar owns something different than Audi or Volvo. Miami Tourism owns something different than Orlando or Vegas, but they all own something. If I say New York Tourism, one word, the Big Apple or Broadway or Wall Street. You might use different terms, but we know what it means. The biggest, most important place in the world. If I say LA, you might say Beverly Hills or Rodeo Drive or Hollywood, but ultimately LA means movies. Vegas means sin. Miami means hot and happening. What do you own? So point 5 is make it yours. Point 6 is all 5 senses. It's not enough to simply say something. People have to hear it, see it, feel it, taste it, and smell it, because we use all our senses to make decisions. The reasons automobiles have new car smell is because that says to us quality, new, luxurious. Those fancy keys that Warren Henry replaces for free, that, by the way, you said cost $100. My wife has an Audi. It was $780 to get a new key, because they're computers, those little keys.
Yes.
But they look at them now, especially the luxury brands. The keys are leather and they're heavy, and because you feel them, and it's got a different feel. And a Bentley key feels very different than a Hyundai key, because they are trying to engage your sensual mind to help you decide. And finally, repeat, repeat, repeat. Whatever your brand is, whatever it is you want to promote, you say it over and over and over and over and over and over again, because people aren't really paying attention. They have too much on their own minds to pay attention to what you're trying to say. So you have to put the power of consistency to work for you.
I can't thank you enough for being on the show today, Bruce. Once a wise man once told me that my personal brand was that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. If that is in fact the truth, then I really, really exercised and implemented my personal brand today. Because Bruce, you're the key. If people listen to you and listen to what you have to say and take good notes, I only took a couple. That shows you how jumbled up my brain is, but I do keep it organized.
Also.
I love you, man. I really do. I can't wait to see you in person. I want to thank Mr. Mendoza for being the glue that kept us together, put us together today.
Thank
Come
you,
on the
Regan.
show. Come on, flip the switch, Regan. Come on. There he is, Mr. Mendoza. There he is, the magic of Mr. Mendoza. Bruce, I love your vignettes every week when you post them. I look forward to them. I comment on them. I do my best to boost and enhance them because I think it's important to our community to have, I'll have to say it this way, good mental health, you know?
So
and
let me
your
tell people
comments
how to
and your
find you.
perspective bring good mental health to people.
If you're interested in finding more, my website is easy. It's just my name. It's Bruce Turkel, TURKEL.com. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur in the C-suite, and you're interested in the next group I'm putting together, which is it's limited to 12 like-minded business owners. It's called CE Only, CEO Only. See what I did there? CE Only. If you go to ceonly.me, you can learn all about it. We have a couple slots left. It's actually filling up quite quickly, but we have a couple slots left. If you're interested, go take a look. As I say, it's exclusive, it's explosive, and it's expensive.
And it's extraordinarily effective.
But it's extraordinary. Exactly.
Oh, you're the best. It used to be that your thing was your glasses. I think we should make it your eyebrows, your glasses, and that fantastic smile.
For years when I was on television, the producers rather, told me that they called me back because of my eyebrows. They said, what happens is when people have the TV on, but they're not really watching, but they see you talking and your eyebrows are going up and down, then they say, oh, I got to tune into this. What is this guy talking about? So I learned that if I wear my glasses, they cover my eyebrows, even though these are narrow ones. And since I don't have to read anything when I'm talking to you, I don't have to wear them.
You're the best. You're the best. Bruce Turkel. Oh, I got to say it one last time. My mentor, my collaborator, and this time I'll end with my friend. You're the best, Bruce. I can't wait to see you soon. Good luck on all your speeches. I cut you off.
I'm just going to stick with friend when I describe you, my friend.
Oh, you're so tremendous. Can't wait to see you on the street walking in town. Can't wait to catch a meal with you. And I think we're going to have to bring Mr. Mendoza along with us as well.
Good. I'd like that.
All right. Bruce Turkel. One more time, Bruce. What are your connection devices? How do people find you?
Quite simple. Just my name. My website is bruceturkel.com. My email, believe it or not, is bruce@bruceturkel.com. Couldn't be easier to find. And if you're interested in the program, it's ceonly.me. Yep, that's it.
We got you covered, Bruce. Bruce
you.
Turkel. Remember, everybody, we'll be back next week, same time. The new podcast debuts Wednesdays at noon. It's always available on freedombusiness.com. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry Automotive and the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies at the University of Florida College of Business. And I want to remind everybody, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Mendoza, the last part is yours.